Hi dear friends, now this is the third video, that is the female reproductive structure. The HSC board, Maharashtra HSC board, that is a bio subject, first chapter reproduction in lower and higher plants. The third video, that is female reproductive structure. It is otherwise known as gynoecium or pistil. Gynoecium made up of carpel. It is otherwise known as megasporophyll. And carpels are of two types according to their union. That is, apocarpus means free carpels. That is, example, Mycelia. See the right side. This is the apocarpus gynoecium of Mycelia. All the carpels are free. They are not united at all. And here syncarpus means fused carpels. Carpels are fused either in the stylar region or in the ovary region. But here you can see the free carpels at stigmatic region. See, 5 stigmas are free and they are united in the stylar region, and in the ovary, if you take the section, you can see the 5 chambers. So this is the example of hibiscus, that is gynoecium pentacarpellary syncarpus gynoecium, that is united carpels. And according to the number of carpels, they are monocarpellary, example P, bicarpellary, that is 2 carpels are present, example Funaria, tricarpellary, mostly monocotyledons, cucurbita, and tetracarpellary, that is datura, pentacarpellary, hibiscus. These are the different types of gynoecium according to the number of carpels: monocarpellary gynoecium, bicarpellary gynoecium, tricarpellary, tetracarpellary, and pentacarpellary gynoecium. Here, this is the example for pentacarpellary syncarpus gynoecium. This is the apocarpus gynoecium free carpels, Mycelia. And coming to the next, that is each carpel made up of, the parts of the carpel: ovary, style, stigma. The function of ovary to produce ovule, style to hold stigma in proper position, stigma to receive pollen grain. And ovary is the main parts of the gynoecium, and it is unilocular according to the number of locules or multilocular. Unilocular, example paddy, wheat, mango, etc. And multilocular, that is a tomato, lady's finger. See here, only one chamber, unilocular, and this is bilocular, and this is a trilocular, and this is tetralocular, pentalocular. So 5 chambers are present. That means it is made up of 5 carpels, and inside ovules are present. And structure of ovule, will see how the ovules are arranged inside the ovary, whether it is in the straight position or inverted position. Accordingly, these ovules are classified into orthotropous ovule, that is straight ovule. They are positioned straight inside the ovary, and anatropous ovule, that is inverted ovule. This is the orthotropous ovule. This is the orthotropous ovule, straight ovule. In this case, see the micropyle, that is the top of the ovule, micropyle, and chalaza and funicle. They are in the straight line. See here. So these all 3 parts are in the straight line. It is known as straight ovule or orthotropous ovule. But in this case, see here, base of the ovule, top of the ovule, and funicle. They are not in a straight position. The ovule is in the inverted position. So it is anatropous ovule. So we will see the structure of ovule. In both the cases, structure same, but this is straight ovule, this is inverted ovule. So we will study the structure of anatropous ovule now. The ovule, the main portion, that is the innermost part, is known as female gametophyte or embryo cell. It is made up of 3 antipodals, 3 egg apparatus, and secondary nucleus. These secondary nucleus are single celled and binucleated structure. And this is 3 haploid cells, here 3 haploid cells. So total this embryo sac is 7 cell, 8 nucleated structure. 3 nucleus here, 3 nucleus here, 2 nucleus here. So total 3 plus 2, that is 8 nucleated. And here 3 cell, here 3 cell, here 2 cells are united. So here 1 cell. So this is 7 cell and 8 nucleated structure. That is the peculiarity of this embryo sac or female gametophyte. It is surrounded by nucellus. One of the nucellus is producing this female gametophyte. So this nucellus is diploid But here female gametophyte except secondary nucleus, all cells are haploid. And above, after this nucellus, next one is the integument. Two integuments, they are the coverings of the ovule. Two integuments, inner one and outer one. They cover the ovule, protective layer of the ovule, that is integument. Then this is the stalk of the ovule, funicle. And this is the base of the ovule, chalaza. And this is the top of the ovule, micropyle. And point of contact of this funicle with this ovule is known as hilum. So this is the structure of anatropous ovule. See here, structure of anatropous ovule, just now I told you, it consists of mainly two parts. Body means a nucellus and embryo sac. And outer integument, they are outer and inner one. Embryo sac is otherwise known as female gametophyte. It is 7-celled and 8-nucleated structure. It consists of antipodal cell haploid, secondary nucleus diploid, egg apparatus haploid. It consists of synergids and egg cell. Egg cell is the female gamete. See here structure. So this is the body. Body means a nucellus and embryo cell. This is the body. And this is the integuments, two parts. And this female gametophyte is otherwise known as embryo sac. It is 7-celled and 8-nucleated structure. And the top of the ovule is a micropyle, base of the ovule, chalaza, and the outer layer, two layers, protective layers is known as integuments. And the stalk of the ovule, funicle. So this is the structure. And egg cell is known as female gamete. Egg cell is present in egg apparatus. The central one is egg cell, that is a female gamete. Either side, that is synergids are present, they are the help cell. When the pollen tube comes inside the micropyle, these synergids will help the male gamete to fuse with the female gamete here. So this is the synergids, they are help cell on either side of the female gamete. This is the egg cell. Then coming to the megasporogenesis, how the embryo sac or megaspore, female gametophyte, is produced inside the nucellus. Just now I told the female gametophyte is producing from one of the cells of the nucellus. From this nucellus, the embryo sac is producing. So this is the microspore. The central portion is known as microspore. This is a female gametophyte. This is producing from one of the cells of the nucellus. How it is producing? See here, one of the cells of the nucellus undergoes continuous meiotic division and produce 4 haploid cells. Out of these, 3 will degenerate and 1 will form inner cell growth, that is form the megaspore mother cells. And this megaspore undergoes mitotic division. First mitotic division and form 2 cell, then second mitotic division, that is a 4 cell, then third mitotic division, they will produce 8 cell. And these 8 cells are arranged in such a way that 3 cells here in the antipodal region, 3 cells in the micropylar region, and 2 cells at the center. So this is the female gametophyte or embryo sac. This is produced inside the nucellus. It is formed from one of the diploid cells of nucellus. This is the diploid cells of nucellus. From this cell, then this gametophyte is producing. It undergoes first meiosis and 1 become functional, and the functional megaspore nucleus undergoes continuous 1, 2, 3 mitotic division and produce 8 cells. 8 cells are arranged, 3 in antipodal cell and 3 egg apparatus, 2 secondary nucleus. So secondary nucleus is diploid, antipodal cells and egg apparatus are haploid, and in the micropylar region, that is egg apparatus contain egg at the center, that is the female gamete, synergids on either side. Okay. Then the production of male gamete we have completed, female gamete also completed. The next one is pollination, how the male gamete transfer from male organ to female organ. That is pollination, next chapter. That is transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma is known as pollination. The pollination, types of pollinations, they are self-pollination mainly and cross-pollination. 2 types of pollination. Self-pollination, from the term itself, we can derive that self-pollination, pollination takes place inside the same flower. It may be autogamy and geitonogamy. So autogamy means pollination takes place within same flower of same plant. Example, pea plant. Same flower and same plant. Gytonogamy pollination takes place between different flowers of same plant. That is neighboring flowers. Gytono means neighbors. Gametes. Neighboring gametes are getting pollinated. Here auto means self. Same flower, same plant. Here different flowers but same plant. Example Cucurbita maxima. So two types of self-pollination, autogamy and gytonogamy. And cross-pollination, the types are xenogamy and hybridization. Xenogamy means pollination takes place between different flowers of different plant but same species. Example onion, spinach, etc. Hybridization, pollination takes place between different flowers of different plants and different species. Species also different. Example wheat, cotton, even hibiscus also we can say hibiscus rosa sinensis with hibiscus esculentus, that is lady's finger, and China rose. They are coming under same genus but different species. If they get pollinated or artificial pollination we can say in hybridization. So cross pollination, xenogamy and hybridization. Xenogamy with different flowers of different plant but same species. Here different flowers, different plant and different species. Hybridization. So types of pollination, self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self-pollinations are autogamy and gytonogamy. Cross-pollinations are xenogamy and hybridization. Types of pollination according to the types of agents involved. That is abiotic agent, biotic agents. So abiotic agent, that type of pollination, that is in the cross-pollination, some agent should be there to carry the pollen grain from anther to stigma. So if the agents are abiotic, that is like a wind pollination, that is known as anemophilous. Don't get confusion. Anemophilous means not animals. It is by wind. Wind pollination is otherwise known as anemophilous. Example wheat, rice, etc. Here see the pollen grains are very lightweight. They will produce in large number. So through the small breeze, the pollen grain, if they get maturity, they will breeze away from one plant to another. So here wind carried by wind, pollen carried by wind, and here the pollination takes place. And here in this case, what are the adaptation for the anemophilous flowers? Flowers are very small, it is inconspicuous, colorless, without nectar and fragrance. And pollen grains are light in weight, so it can carry very easily through the breeze. Dry and produce in large numbers. So while going from one place to another place, so many pollen grain can fall down and wastage of pollen grain will be there. So here large number of pollen grains are producing. They are dry and light in weight. Stigma is feathery. So to catch the pollen grains, so stigma should be feathery in structure. Stamens with long filaments, so easily they can fall and they can carry through the winds. Versatile anther, that is inverted anther, long elongated anther is known as versatile anther. So these are the adaptation for wind pollinated flowers. Coming to next abiotic agent, water, hydrophilous flowers. That is two types, epihydrophilous and hypohydrophilous. Epihydrophilous means pollen grains float on surface of water. Example Vallisneria. Hypohydrophilous pollination occurs below the surface of water. Example Zostria. So here above the surface of the water, if the pollination takes place, that is epihypohydrophilous. And if it is below the surface of water, that is hypohydrophilous. Then what are the adaptation in hydrophilous flowers? So flowers are small and inconspicuous. Waterproof perianth. Perianth is the outermost two whorls. Instead of calyx and corolla, we can say the perianth and other floral parts. Pollen grains are long and mucilaginous. Nectar and fragrance are absent. Nectar means honey. Some aquatic plants are anemophilous. Example Halogaris. This is the exception case. Some aquatic plants are entomophilous. Entomophilous means insect pollinated flowers. That is example lotus. So these are the adaptation in hydrophilous flowers. Next coming to the biotic agents, that is first one birds, ornithophilous, example bombax. Adaptation for ornithophily, the pollen grains are carried or seeds are carried by birds from one place to another. Brightly colored flowers, see here the brightly colored flowers are attracted by birds. Large and showy flowers, nectar is present, pollen grains are sticky and spiny so they can stick on their body. No fragrance. Ornithophilous that is bird pollinated flowers. Next one, insect pollinated flowers, example salvia. So here the peculiar adaptation here in the salvia, adaptation for entomophilous flowers. They are large, showy and often brightly colored. Flowers produce smell. They have nectar glands. The stigma is rough due to the presence of hair. Pollen grains are spiny. Presence of lever mechanism. Example salvia. Lever mechanism means, so this is here, the petals of salvia is formed in such a way that it look like upper lip and lower lip. And see here, there is a place for the insect to come and sit here, and they can suck the honey from interior. So this type of arrangement is known as lever mechanism. And the insects will go inside, suck the honey. By the time the pollen grains from the anther fall down on their body, when the same insect goes to another flower, the pollination carried out. The next one is a bat, Chiropterophilus. Example, Adansonia, that is Bioba we say. That is adaptation for Chiropterophilus flowers. Flowers are dull colored, strong fragrance, secrete nectar, large number of pollen grains. So see, these are the different types of agents and different types of pollination according to the agents. What are they? That is a bat pollinated flowers, bat pollinated Chiropterophilus flower, entomophilous flower, then ornithophilous flowers. So that is biotic agents. And that is water hydrophilous flower, abiotic, and the next one is wind pollinated flowers. So these are the different types of pollination and adaptation present in different flowers. Then what are the outbreeding devices to promote cross pollination? That is some exception cases, adaptation naturally present in the flowers. That is, first one is unisexuality. That is, flowers are dioecious, either male or female. In that case, they have to depend on foreign pollen grains. So same flower, the pollination does not take place. Then dichogamy. Dicho means different. Gametes are mature at different time. So first one is protandry, second one is protogyny. Protandry means anthers get maturity first. Example, sunflower. And by that, in that cases, this stigma has to wait for the foreign pollen grains. Protogyny, gynoecium get maturity. So here the pollen grains have to come from foreign pollen grains. Protandry means that this pollen grain has to go to another flower for pollination. So protandry anthers are getting maturity, so they will release the pollen grain. They have to go to other flower for pollination. And protogyny, if the gynoecium get maturity, they have to accept the foreign pollen grain from other flowers. Then prepotency. Other pollen grains germinate rapidly than the pollen grain of same flower. Example, apple. Then heterostyly. Styles or anthers are on different level. So that is example primrose. Here the gynoecium is the lower level, and this gynoecium get pollinated by the anthers of other flower which are in the lower level. And in this case, gynoecium in the higher level, this gynoecium get pollinated by the anthers which are in the higher level of other plant. So this type of pollination, which is known as heterostyly. Example, primrose. Then next one, hercogamy, that is example, Calotropis. Presence of natural physical barriers present between two sex organs to prevent self-pollination. In all these cases, self-pollinations are prevented. That is, pentangular stigma is positioned above the level of anthers in Calotropis. So because of this pentangular stigma, the self-pollination is not carried out. So this is the hercogamy. So these are the different types of contrivances to promote cross-pollination. What are they? That is unisexuality, dichogamy, in that protandry and protogyny, prepotency, heterostyly, and hercogamy. Then last one is self-sterility, tobacco. Genetic mechanism. Germination of pollen grain on stigma is inhibited. The same flower, same plant, the self-pollination is inhibited. That is self-sterile. It will be sterile then. So these are the contrivances or adaptation, natural adaptation to promote cross-pollination. So next chapter I will continue afterwards. So this is the third video. We finished now. That's the different types of adaptation for pollination. Okay, bye. Thank you.